I bought a 1999 BMW M3 convertible, then I went to look at a 2000 VW Cabrio with 400 horsepower VR6 Big Turbo. Hello everybody, it's Mike, the Baldadonis. Boom! If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Mike the Baldadonis and I talk about many different topics. Sharing life experiences one video at a time is my motto. I talk about being in my early 20s, doing 5 years and 3 months in prison for a first-time drug offense. Only to get out unhappy with my body, I decided to do steroids, gain 105 pounds of pure muscle, only to have a heart attack and other steroid-related health issues. I currently deal with migraines and vertigo from today's environmental pollution, today's foods, and VOCs. I buy and sell cars as a hobby, and I bring you guys along with me, showing you the pros and cons of each vehicle that I buy. I have Dr. Peter Pococo, he's my mentor, the reason why I'm on YouTube, and he talks about inspiration. I have Gary from the gym, he is a conspiracy theorist, and I have other people come on board sharing their interesting life stories as well. Hey guys, on tonight's video, we're going to talk about my 26th BMW product I ever owned. The 1999 BMW M3 convertible with the 5-speed. So the love affair started way back in 1989. I went on vacation with a friend to Arizona, being from the Boston area. Back then, BMWs and Mercedes were like, you had money. You know what I'm saying? You were doing really well if you can afford those type of cars. As today, everybody can go lease a car and this and that, but back then, you had to have some major money to own these vehicles. Anyways, going to Arizona, we got picked up by his aunt and uncle who owned a hair salon. And they pulled up in a mid-80s, 528 or 533, I'm not sure on the model, BMW 5 Series. Being 20 years old back in 1989, those cars that we had were all gigantic badges like Cadillacs, Buicks. My mom had a Buick LeSabre. I had a 75 Cadillac, what the hell was it? Not an Eldorado. I had a Coupe de Ville, a two-door Coupe de Ville that was probably like 22 feet long. It was outrageous with a 500 cubic inch motor. Crazy. It was just like, it was gigantic. It was like useless. Anyways, that's when the love affair started. I got into his vehicle. He took off doing 100 miles an hour on the canyon back roads in Arizona. I was like, this little 6-cylinder automatic that's the size of a box impressed me. He even let me use the car several times during the visit. I was just like in awe. You know what I mean? When somebody gives you the keys to a very expensive car, you know, you have that big smile on your face. Back then I had long blonde hair, so the wind was going through my hair, blowing all over the place. I was like, what's up? Listen to Motley Crue. Yeah, it was 1989. So I'm on Craigslist and I'm going through all the ads. I'm like, what am I gonna buy next? I just sold my Jeep Wrangler and I sold my Toyota 4Runner. So I had some money saved and it was on to the next car. Spring is in the air. This was 3 weeks ago when I bought this car, so it was still in February, and the snow was on the ground. I had ice up here, and the lake, well, my pond was still frozen. So trying to buy a convertible at that time, people are just listing them up, and I'm taking advantage of, especially this year. I'm buying as many convertibles that I can because spring fever's kicking in. People want a convertible, a motorcycle, a sports car, a Jeep, something cool, something fun. The season's here, so I'm gonna take advantage of that this year. So I will be buying some cool cars this year, and I'll be telling you all about it. Anyways, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of the BMW. But before I get to that, while I was on Craigslist, I seen a badass 2000 Volkswagen Cabrio VR6 with VR6, not sex, VR6 Big Turbo, 5-speed, Porsche wheels, slammed, 400 horsepower. You get it, right? But I just drove back from Rhode Island 100 miles each way, twice, by the way, for that BMW. And I want to thank Todd. Todd, you're a really nice guy, and I appreciate buying the BMW from you. Thank you very much. Anyways, Emilio is my new friend because we are car enthusiasts. Emilio is trying to sell the 2000 VW. I drove all the way back another 100 miles to check this vehicle out. It was too good to be true for the price that I was trying to buy for. Unfortunately, the motor and everything else was built by somebody else. Emilio didn't really know everything that was involved with the car, so he gave it to another speed shop to go through it. They fixed some of the things, and he actually sold them the VR6. And the speed shop supposedly fixed all kinds of things, sold it back to Emilio last year. He was enjoying it. He bought another car. He put up this car for sale, and I jumped on it. I drove all the way down there. Unfortunately, there was too much smoke coming out of the exhaust, which could be a few things. Head gasket, I wasn't too sure if it was that. A lot of black smoke. It could be the tune on the turbo. It could be the injectors are just too big and it's dumping gas in there because it didn't smoke when he was driving it or when I was driving it. But the uncertainty of what was actually done to the car, buying somebody else's hot rod, if you don't know everything involved, it makes things tricky for me to sell it to somebody else. It needed a few other things, some interior work, but a beautiful black, the black top. He had a maroon top to go with it. He had a new rug to go with it. The Porsche wheels really made it stand out. It is a sharp car. And it also had solid motor mounts. If you don't know what solid motor mounts feel like, well, it's very jarring to feel. So when you're shifting through the gears and it's just, the vibrations come through the car a lot more than a rubber mount. So it's a hot rod, it's a toy, and to sell it to somebody else would definitely love it, but it's not really practical for a daily driver. So I still tried to buy it at a certain price, and he's just not gonna let it go, and that's okay. Emilio, thank you so much for letting me enjoy your car and making part of the video. Some of the things that go wrong with the BMW, just about everything, seriously. BMWs are a love-hate relationship. When they run really good, everything is awesome. It's a pleasure to own them and drive them when they are no problems. But when the little problems start coming in, like oil leaks, the suspension, the rear springs usually break, so you gotta put some new springs in there. If you have a E36 M3 or E46 M3, sometimes the subframes can crack, and that's from beating the crap out of the car. So you got to watch out for that too. It's like any other car. All cars need work. BMWs just need a little extra love, but it can be pricey. That's what sets people off on these cars. Either like they love them or they hate them. They hate them because they don't understand the car itself. The tough part is the cooling system. Everything has to be replaced most of the time. The Vanos has to be replaced. The good thing about some of these things is you go to FCP Euro. It's your one-stop shopping for your German cars, especially BMWs. FCP Euro, you buy the part once. If it breaks, you get a replacement for free. You just get to return that other product, the other part back in, and you get refunded. So that is a great option. Also, there's a Vano system on that, and Dr. Vanos, you can buy a Vano system for about $375, but once you get it, you take the old one off and you can send it back and get another $100 back. So $275 for a Vanos, and that's part of the timing system. So if your car feels sluggish, you hear it rattling like marbles, that's your Vano system. It's usually the seals that leak out, and that's usually the main problem, but it is a pain in the ass. What else can be wrong with the BMW? Window regulators, AC, the power tops, or if you have a sunroof, there is a nylon strapping in there. When you hit the button, they wear out, the teeth wear out. Everything but the motor is fantastic. Like the 6-cylinder is bulletproof. It's just everything around it falls apart. Simple as that. But always find the best one that you can afford. You don't want to buy something that's beat up because you don't want to keep putting the money into it. The one I found was a 4-owner car. You can obviously tell by these pictures in the video that the car it's not super mint. I give it definitely a 8.5 out of 10. It's really nice. The only thing I don't like about it is somebody put lowering springs, okay? And they're lowered about another 1.3 inches. So it's a little stiffer of the ride. Also, these cars, they come with rattles, squeaks, and stuff like that. So, but they're so good looking. You know what they look like? It's like the regular guy dating that hot chick. If you can afford that hot chick, good for you. Then you could own a BMW. You're gonna look good, feel good, but you know, that hot chick likes to go out to eat, she likes to go shopping, and the car likes to be repaired. So it's the same thing. All right, you know what I'm talking about. But I love my BMWs. And while filming this video, having the drone up in the air, making my loop around my house, as soon as I got done parking it, the other things that fall apart, like I said, is the cooling system, but the radiator, poof, the top part of the radiator exploded. Right here. See this ring? That's part of the top part of the radiator where the hose goes on, and it's simply broken in half, and it was placed into the hose. Now, when Todd bought this car, he had BMW and International Autos Sales, I believe it is, down in Rhode Island. They went through the car. They fixed what had to be fixed. And one of the things was he's supposed to replace the radiator. They had it tested, and it tested fine. It was, after all, 2 years ago, but it finally broke. So I just ordered a brand new radiator from FCP Euro. Not expensive, 140 bucks. And I'll get it back together and up and running. So after a couple days of getting the car, I went to my friend's repair shop, RGA, out of Pelham, New Hampshire, just to have the car checked out, see if it needed anything to be state inspected. We went through the car. The car looked really good. The only thing that we found was a slight oil leak in the valve cover gasket, which is normal for these BMWs. But everything else looked really good. All the suspension looked good. That's when I noticed they had H&R springs that lowered it down 1.3 inches. And everything else seemed pretty good. As you can see, the car is very low. It's probably only like 4 inches off the ground, I think, in the front end. But getting the car up on the lift and coming down, ooh, that was tight. We had to put some wood underneath the tires just to get the car off. But I want to thank the guys at RGA for always helping me out. Thank you very much. So over the weekend, I was finally able to detail the whole car. It was a little bit brisk out, but it ended up being a really nice day. But I was able to get the car done. It looks fantastic, and I hope the next person that buys this vehicle will enjoy it as much as I will. I will drive that car until it sells. I will enjoy it. I'll have a big smile on my face, hopefully, because you just never know what happens with a BMW. So there you go, guys. Until the next video, Baldadonis out.